Okay, this video is going to look at converting scales for area and volume. So you already know how to convert from, for example, centimeters to millimeters, or from meters to kilometers, and so on, when you're looking at length. In this case, we're looking at area. So can you convert centimeters squared into millimeters squared? Have a go with both of these questions. Take a few seconds and then I'll show you the answer. Okay, so I'm going to show you the answer here. So you should have got 3,700 and 3,000. If you didn't, you shouldn't be too embarrassed, because in the final exam, 60% of students that got a grade 7, 8, or 9 as their final result got this specific question wrong. And the common mistake here was they saw centimeters, millimeters, and they think, okay, well, 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters. So you just multiply by 10, and you can obviously see in this case, we've actually multiplied it by 100. I'm going to show you why. It's actually a very, very simple explanation. I'm going to show you area first, and then I'm going to show you volume, and then you can do 4 or 5 questions. So what you can see here is a 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter square. That means that the area of the square is also 1 centimeter squared. And then here I have the same square, except my units are in millimeters. So I obviously know that 1 centimeter is the same as 10 millimeters. And the same for this side, because it's a square, the same length. That means that the area of this square here, which is the same as the area of the square here, is going to be 100 millimeters squared. So the area scale factor, you can see it's multiplied by 100. So 1 centimeter squared is 100 millimeters squared. Now looking at different units here, 2 by 2. So you want to convert 4 meters squared, because it's 2 times 2, into centimeters squared. So, well, you know that if this is 2 meters, this has to be 200 centimeters. Obviously, that's also going to be 200. And then you do 200 times 200, and then you get 40,000. That's telling you that 4 meters squared is equal to 40,000 centimeters squared, or in other words, 1 meter squared is equal to 10,000 centimeters squared. And then from that, you can do any conversion. Now, I've actually drawn the squares on here for you, so it's quite convenient for me, but in an exam, if your question were to be to convert, for example, 20 centimeters squared into millimeters squared, all you would do is draw a square, and you know that's 1 by 1 in centimeters. Draw a square. How many millimeters would that be if it's the same square? Well, it would be 10 by 10 millimeters, and then you can just see the scale factor is going to be 100, so 20 times 100. Now, looking at volume, volume consists of how many cubes you can fit inside something. So a 1 by 1 by 1 meter cube is, the volume is 1 meter cubed. The same cube, if it's in centimeters, is going to be 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. You multiply them all to get the volume. And if it's millimeters, it's going to be 1,000 millimeters by 1,000 millimeters by 1,000 millimeters. So the volumes I've actually got, we're going to work them out here. So that's going to be 100 times 100 times 100 is 1,000,000. 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000, you get a billion with a B. So now you can see the numbers get quite big, but you can work out the scale factors from this. So to go from meters to centimeters cubed, you multiply by 1,000,000. To go the other way, you divide. And then in this case, you want to go from centimeters squared to millimeters cubed, centimeters cubed to millimeters cubed, you multiply by 1,000. And to go back, you divide by 1,000. So here's question just to look at and try. 30 centimeters cubed, so that means we've got centimeters cubed and we want to get to millimeters cubed. So that means we're going this way. So you just multiply by 1,000, you get 30,000. That's it for converting units of volume and area. Here's a practice question. You don't have to do this. You can skip ahead if you want to, just if you want to try one question out. So pause it here. Okay, so I'll show you the answer here. So this is going to be 1. It's going to be 10,000. So for meters squared into centimeters squared, you multiply by 10,000, and you get 83,000. Okay, so you can pick out any 4 questions, pause the video and try them, and then I'll show the answers in a few seconds. Okay, so here are the answers. Hopefully you got these all correct, the 4 questions that you tried. If you did, that's fine. You don't need to do any more work on this video, but if you got any wrong, then I want you to try any 4 of these questions. And if you want just a bit of practice, maybe you can pick out 1 or 2, even if you did get them right in the previous slide. And then I'll show the answers in a few seconds. So you can pause here. Okay, so here are the answers for the questions. This is also in the worksheet on the PDF that I shared. So hopefully you got those all correct. And that is the end of this topic.